the mirror, I saw self. And I said to myself, I had packages in the right places. I had a lot of in the right places. And I thought that because I had so I thought about myself that everybody should have some of myself. Fashion. Y'all, your face, she'll be all right in a minute. Mother Archie looking at me, she know I'm gonna mess up. Let me talk seriously for a minute. I really want to get this over. I don't know how many minutes I have, but when my minutes get up, I want you to be just give me a pull. Give me this book here. Now I've gotten some material together. I don't ever come to a place that I don't have material that's available to go home with you. I don't charge. I don't. But I do ask that you let Sister Cinderella get her first package. Because I don't go into any church without letting them know what I presented, because you got enough spiritual warfare with the saints when y'all bring y'all's devil in. I don't want to leave none here that may have followed me in here. I got out of that. Hold on. In this pamphlet, and this is my material, and it's called The Ladies Young Ministry. We're going to talk, first of all, about inner healing. I'm going to, I have packets of material, and my daughter will give it, High Calling for God's Women, Women of God. That's another brief information point. The other one that I'm going to deal with in secret, well, nobody knows about it, understanding sex morality. Now, I don't know why I was gifted with so much inclination towards sex. I liked it.
All righty then. Don't know what you talking about, huh?
I liked it.
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. Now, some of us sitting here just got a heat wave. I don't care. I think that what we're gifted with, we should understand it. And then once we learn how to who we are, we don't have to flaunt it. We don't have to pay for a cheeseburger and a Coke. Keeping, don't y'all repeat this when I leave here. The highest earning that you can make is to be a prostitute. Silly women. If you were involved with anybody else before you got married, you were a prostitute. All righty then. Let me go back over here. If you were not married,
All righty then.
and you had anything touching
The body.
your stuff, or unpaid for, the word is called prostitution. Now, if you were silly enough to give it away, that's just talk. Girl, I need to talk to you later. Still be collecting revenue. Because if you're good at what you're good, moving on. Oh, God, this will get in trouble. Because some of you older folks won't really admit. You know your flashes is coming. Your heat wave is finding out where you are. There's somebody pointing over there. I ain't looking over there. But there are things that women have to consider, that once you learn the real value of who God made you to be, you will be beneficial to the ministry and the gospel. A whole lot of folks sitting here wounded, hurt. I was married 16. I'm smart. I'm highly gifted. I'm highly gifted. Not because God had me, because he didn't have me. He knew who I was. But he knew that he give me something that he could use. But then God told me I used it. My own self. God did not allow me to be saved at an early age. But he allowed me to have some experiences that y'all won't talk about. Because if God don't know, you won't either. But until you get to a place in your life when you're ready to expose the devil that's been hindering you for your rightful inheritance that God has set aside for you, you will never be fully what God wanted you to be. Y'all know y'all shouldn't give me this line. What does my other paper say? I like sex. Don't be looking at me funny. This is for the boys. Anybody have any teenage boys? Be sure you get a paper before you go home. Yes. Yeah, Sam will send Joe 2 of them. Let me back up. Let's talk about inner healing. We have people here that need to be healed. Before I can give you the house of what God has said, is there a church in the house? I need to get you to a place where you need to have an examination. Before you go to an operation, you come in for prep. Okay, I'm going to operate before we leave. But I need to prep you now. Whole lot of you have unforgiveness that you ain't been able to get over with. They still in your church. They still serving on the board. They still got an auxiliary over yours. They still trying to direct what well, I won't say over him because I know him, I get in trouble. But they trying to direct what you should be for him. What did he want with you? Now, wait, don't you don't talk, I'm talking. What in the world did he see in her? What did he think he had when he got her? What's wrong with him? But here's God that says, I put everything, her past, I know everything where she coming from, I know everything, y'all don't want to admit it, but where he come from. He was a mess before I got him. But then all of a sudden, the good thing come in his life, and she's held accountable for how come she ain't what she is all, and he does not have to worry about what God has in her. He just keeps on acting up and don't be what he's supposed to do. She knows how to pray. God will be turning loose on you, buddy, and you ain't had nobody. You ain't had nobody till you mess with this. Y'all think he's all of that? When I married my husband, he had a job. I told God, you must be kidding me. Everything I ever been contacted with got something. If it wasn't in the pants, it was in the bag. Something. The Lord told me, no, Lord, I told you that. I beg your pardon. You got a job? No, I'm looking for one. You got a house? You go, no, I'm with my mama. Do you have a bank account? No, not yet. What is you trying to talk to me for? I got 2 jobs, 3 jobs, 1 payment to fly. 2 bank accounts, my own car. What do you think I need with you? He said, the Lord said, I don't know your Lord, and I don't know who you've been talking to. Now, y'all know today he's the bishop, right? Yeah. God told me he had a man that he was getting ready to do a work through. No problem. Go ahead. And he said, that's a man. Well, you and God got an appointment. I ain't get that stuff. Soon as God get through with you, come back. He gonna give you some money in your house and you're back. Come back. But until then, I see y'all looking at me funny. See, I'm like,
She telling the truth. She telling the real.
To offer me. But I had gotten saved. walked in, before I got and I kept trying to live this Christian life, look good, wear my clothes on. I didn't have everything about me, but I was hiding behind the clothes. I didn't want anybody to know how deep in sin that I had been. And I thought as long as I kept it, so that only God and I knew. But God said, that's your ministry. You don't write that on a piece of paper when you fill out a resume, Lord. You don't put that down. You do know that, right, Lord? You don't put that down when I put the you. He said, that's the process that I put in you so you can be what he needs. Can any woman validate that they're more than their husbands? Or they're scared to say it. You got more knowledge, more understanding, you got a better thing, you a little bit sharper than he is. Okay, don't look up. You got more going for you than he does. You don't even know how to put the suits together, the ties together. He just go out looking like Kimbo. And he struck me. And the first thing they say, who's his wife? Some of you are still toying with you don't know, you are not happy because you're a woman. You're still trying to find out how come the inclinations of that other side of the heat keeps surfacing. Oh yeah. In your church, you come. Not your church. Church down the street. Others have got inclination because they're a man. And they don't know how to handle the feelings that they have about being a woman. We're constantly in your church. Now, these are not outside of these walls. This is in your church. You have people sitting there fighting and struggling with themselves because they don't want the real self to come out. Because you pew sitters, the guardians of the church doors, are watching everything that walks through the door. Evaluating if they should be a member of this church. We're going to get in trouble. And the pew sitters are locking the doors, and the people that need help really is already in the church. It's not the ones outside, but they coming to show you up. Oh, y'all ain't getting it. Now, when I said a while ago you laid with everything, do you know that everything you laid with, you brought their spirit out with you? Yes. So if you was with 5 different men, you have 5 different spirits plus the visitors they bring. Oh, y'all got quiet. So you wondering why your children now acting up? Because they spiritual father. Oh, God. It's coming out. Oh, let's talk about something else. So y'all cute. Some of you have done things and you don't want it to surface criminally. I'm not talking about you liars. I ain't got to y'all yet. You've got to come to the conclusion there's been some horrific things that have happened. Inner healing. She's going to give you this later. But read this when you go home. I won't go over all of it because my time is limited. But a factor of what I'm going for is a lot of things that we're trying to get out from under is to acknowledge that we have been attacked at home all along. How many of you will really agree Now, I didn't have any brothers, but I had other people that were influential in my life. But my mother would say, do what let me say your brother, for myself. Your brother's in charge while I'm gone, so you be sure you do whatever he tells you to do.
That's it. Wow. Oh, wow.
Not in your house, in her house, down the street. So, at home, you've given orders for it to be followed explicitly. So while you were gone, brother said, we're going to play house. Well, you know, in the house, mama tell you nothing we'll talk about, go outside these walls. Mama, mama didn't tell y'all that? Okay, well, y'all don't talk about our business that's going on. So brother didn't have to tell about what was going on in the house. We played house. He was a father, and I was a mother. So I've been experienced, not me, but I've been experienced with learning who I was since 6 and 7 years old. Because brother taught me. Oh, don't forget my uncle, and he was a grandpa. This all went on in the house.
In the house.
Before I got to the world, before I was exposed to what sin was really all about, I found it in the house. Because the house didn't know God.
Yes.
Oh, not at your house, at that house on the street. I was exposed to hiding our secrets because he said, can't tell nobody. And if you do, we can't do a playhouse again. And you won't have nobody to play with. I needed somebody to play with.
I know that's right.
Because what he was doing did not mean anything at that time, because I was too young to understand it. But you do know that the spirit of arousement. Yes. So you're wondering why you're running the streets, knocking on doors, trying to find any man. Everybody. Cripple, old, lady. You're under the attack of what years ago you never told anybody about. Not in y'all's house. Okay. Get ready, Barry. We can get out of here. I had problems with the church locking the doors on what the past was. When God says, when I say you're clean, let no man say, I'm not going to mess up because I like this. When I come to the conclusion that everything that I began to learn, I learned because some things went on in my house. See, I don't just like men, my mama liked me. She had one and she borrowed a few more. And because of that, I was highly influenced because I see. And if mama would do it, it's all right for me. Y'all act like a church ain't. I want to get to my house pretty soon. How do I sit in front of God and have God to expose me to a point that it could be a valuable ministry? He said, I'm going to give you the ministry that no one else has. Y'all will talk about it. I got a great husband. He looks good, smells good, talks good. But I made him.